Right, hello sugar buns, welcome to an updated guide. This is statue placement guide from first Galatea, which is me, of course. We made one last year, but we're gonna update it this year, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one. Okay, now then, let's get you guys started, shall we? So for our first skill, we have Statue of Wisdom. Basically, Galatea summons a pair of statues that generate side to side. Now, how will we use these statues efficiently? One of the main uses, as everyone definitely knows, is that you use them in between pallets when Survivor goes through them, so then you can guarantee a chip on them. What else is there a use of these statues? You can use them like this as well, right? Just so then like you can limit the Survivor's movement a little bit if they try to loop you. But mainly for Sculptor, you put them in between pallets. There's also the exception of gaps like these. They may not seem like pallets, but they're enough to stop the Survivor's movement, so then you can catch up for like, you know, you get a 1 to 2 second advantage. Because when the statue generates, it stays for at least like, you know, a second to 2 seconds. For small gaps like these, it's like a second. But like for big gaps like these, for example, the survivors have to focus on dodging the statue. It'll buy you at least a second or two to catch up to the survivor and to hit them. So that's basically it for Statue of Wisdom. Of course, you can try chip them in between windows as well with Statues of Wisdom, but they're not really guaranteed chips compared to Statue of Agility, as we will talk further on. But of course, let's say hypothetically speaking, you know, the survivor runs to the pallet. Oh, you chip the survivor here, and then like you're being looped. You get your statue out. You can try chip them like this, but like in this area, it's best not to use it like that. When you're being counter looped like this, let's say, so you're being counter looped, you can use them like this, but then again, you have the Statue of Agility. And then for a skill tree with Statue of Agility, of course, when you're running straight towards a pallet, it's best to use Wisdom, Statue of Wisdom instead of Agility, because this won't guarantee you a chip. The only time when it will guarantee you a chip is when you put it in between windows, like here. So then when the survivors vault, you can immediately put it down, get a chip. That's one use of it. The second use of Statue of Agility, you can use it in between pallets as well. Now let me explain this. Let's say you're getting looped here, as I was saying earlier on. Oh, you're getting looped. By the time you're here, you realize that the survivor is near the pallet. You can get your Statue of Agility out. You can play a few mind games here. If they go through the pallet, you can put this down, they get a chip, and then you can catch up to them. Even if you don't get a hit right after the chip, that's also fine. You already have a chip. You're at an advantage right now. If they're playing mind games with you, you put the statue down. It did not chip them, but in exchange, they're still out here. You can definitely get a hit. Here. So, Statue of Agility helps with counter looping compared to Statue of Wisdom. Statue of Wisdom is mainly when you're walking at a straight line and you see survivors running in between the pallet, you put it down to get a chip off them. You usually wouldn't use Statue of Agility because these wouldn't guarantee you a chip, just because there's like movement animation on so survivors can react. So the main key is your first skill, Wisdom, is side to side in between pallet, and then Agility is near windows and to counter loops. So if they're going to go through this pallet and you don't want them to put down the pallet, put the Sculptor down, do your hit, they get a hit and a chip, and then they have to put this pallet down. Now you're just like the prisoner on our top right now. He's one chip down. He's at a very, very dangerous situation. So that's the basic. Not really the basic, because I added a little bit more, but like that's just genuinely the basics of Statue of Wisdom and Statue of Agility. Now, how would you use these two skills efficiently? So let's say there is a survivor decoding this cipher that I'm highlighting right now, and they saw you, they're running away. You want to catch up to them, you don't want to waste time. With the benefit of doubt, early game, when you didn't find the survivors and you have 3 sets of statues, it's okay to use the statues to block their way. you don't have to chip them. What you're mainly focusing on is buying time for yourself to catch up to the survivors, right? You should, and pro tip, you should only use this when you have like, you know, 2 sets or more statue. So see on my bottom right now, I have 2 sets of statues. I will only use 1 set to block their way, and I will save 1 extra set just so then I can counter loop between pallets like here. So then, like, you know, I can at least, you know, have an insurance for myself that, okay, if I didn't land the statues, if I didn't get the chip when I'm trying to hold back from the survivor running towards the next transition area, I at least have 1 set of statues where I can block their way in between pallets to, you know, get a chip, get a hit, or even to counter loop. Just like this, you know, let's say, oh, he went in between the pallet, he's gonna run towards this pallet right now. You put that, then you get a chip, and then you get a hit. That's 1 chip, 1 hit, and a survivor is 1 chip down. If you have blink, great, you can blink down immediately. That's no problem. But yeah, so just remember, right, when you have 2 sets or more, it's okay to use it. It's okay to use it to block their way. If you don't, it's best to save it. Just like, you know, oh, they're trying to rotate in between this area, but I've only 1 set of statue. Okay, instead of using it, I'll save it. I'll get ready for them to run in between this area, this gap. I'll put the statue down to try and chip them, because in this area, it's like, you know, an 80% chip, let's say, unless you make a small mistake. And then in these areas, it's like a 100% chip when they go in between the pallets. So that is a pro tip for how to use statues before Statue of Nobility. Now then, I have another one for you, pro tip number 2. Let's say you don't have Statue of Agility, Statue of Nobility open, which is basically these statues where they collide and they go towards the nearest survivors. Now, of course, this tip is only applicable in some areas. So there's areas in Chinatown and areas in Moonlit you can use this tip. So basically, see on a lakeside. So you basically see how this is like quite a narrow area, right? This is quite a narrow area. You can put your Statue of Wisdom down and Statue of Agility down, right? So basically, what happens here is, I'll show you how to do it from the 2 sides. You put the statue down, right? You get your statue ready. Oh, they're going in between. You put it down. That's 1 chip. You do it fast enough. That's Statue of Agility coming in, pushes back, and then when it pushes back, the survivor will hit you. They'll consider a 2nd chip and then immediate down. That is like a pro tip that you can use the 2 statues very efficiently in areas like these. Like in Lakeside, it's a beach. You can see these areas in beach. So basically, oh, you're here. You see survivors running towards that area. Okay, I'm gonna get my statues ready. Okay, that's 1 chip, no problem. They put the pallet down. Boom, that's 2 chips after you use agility, because, you know, whether they put the pallet down or not, they'll definitely get a chip here, because it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to avoid this. Very unlikely, unless they somehow squeeze through this gap or you make a small mistake. And, you know, in these areas, it's very nice because you can get an immediate double chip. If you have blink, you can immediately blink down. If you don't have blink, that's fine as well. You can wait for blink and then blink them down if you can't land your statues. So that's pro tip number 2. Pro tip number 3 comes with statues. Pro tip number 3 comes with... No, not comes with statues. Pro tip number 3 comes with chisel. So let me just show you guys. Let me teleport to a survivor that is at max health. Okay, there you go. So pro tip number 3 is basically with your chisel, right? So let's say for an example that you are like... You're out here. Oh, I'm too far away to chip the survivors. I'm too far away to block their route. I'm too far away. What you can do is you can use your chisel. That's a little bit close. You can use your chisel, throw it a little bit in front of them, walk, and then use your statues to block their route. Because they definitely have to sidestep the statues. They definitely have to sidestep the statues just to make sure that they don't, you know, get chipped. Because if they do get chipped, it's gonna be very disadvantageous for them, because you can just 1 chip, 1 hit them down. So in situations where you are very far away from the survivors, where your statues aren't in range, you can use your chisel instead to block their route. put the statues down, tell them, no, I don't want you to move, you're you're a donut, donut, and you know, just block their movement, limit their movement a little bit so you can catch up. And when it comes to them looping areas, you can use your statues to counter the loop, basically. So yeah, that is 3 pro tips that I can give you. I don't think there are really any more pro tips I can give, except like there's really nothing else I can say. Now then, let's move on to, so I guess we'll move on to the next segment. So segment number 3. Okay, so this will be quite an interesting one, cause we'll be basing it off our max present statues. So now we're gonna talk about Statue of Nobility. Basically, what Statue of Nobility is when two of your different statues collide. So it basically just means if it's the same set of statues and it collides, it won't do anything. It has to be 2 different sets of statues to collide, and then it will go towards the nearest survivor within 36 meters. So that's basically within Tinnitus range. So when you have Tinnitus and you don't know where the survivors are, just immediately put down these statues, and then it'll immediately locate to where the survivors are, so you don't have to waste time to look for survivors if they're crouching, let's say. It's great to use. It's genuinely great to use to locate survivors late game, mid game, late game as well when you open your max presence. But how will we use this efficiently, you might say? Now then, first and foremost, of course, as I have said before, when you are trying to block the survivor's route, it's best to collide the statue, so then you can guarantee a chip. So basically what you're doing is you're blocking their route, and then once you get the second statue out, it immediately collides and it'll chip the survivor. Because usually when you're blocking their route, it's gonna be like, you know, let's say just a few meters in front of them. So when they run, they're gonna run towards the statue. They dodge the first set, but can they dodge the second set when it merges and collides and then homing missiles towards them? No. So that is no. So that will guarantee you a chip. Pro tip number 2 would be, you know, basically what I said before as well. You can use your chisel in this situation, block their route while moving. Make sure you move while you do this, or else you're just going to be wasting your chips and your time, to be honest. And you know, you can use your chisel, block their route, catch up to them, get some really nice chips, yada yada yada. Pro tip number 2. Pro tip number 3. Remember what I said about this area where you can get 1 chip and then immediate second chip here. So that basically works with Statue of Nobility as well, and let me show you how. So let me see. So let's say in this area, right, where, no, actually that's a bit too close to me, so I will not do it here. So let's say in this area, so see where there's 1 window there. Well, there's 2 windows here. What do I call this? I call this the double T, or you can just call it 2 window because it looks like 2 T's. So when the survivor vaults the window, you can get your statue ready, and then when you're fast enough, you get a chip. You immediately merge, second chip, that's like they're on half health already. If you blink down immediately, boom, bam, nice one. Let me reenact it and show it to you guys again. So basically, what you can do is, you can get your Statue of Agility out first. You're gonna vault that window. I'll do it slowly, right? So, oh boom, you get a chip. That statue is coming back. Oh wait, sorry, let me redo that. So boom, you're getting a chip. Come on, 3rd time's the charm. Boom, you're getting a chip. That statue is coming back. You get that statue out. Boom, another boom, emerges. So that's double chip. The debuff does not apply when it's Statue of Nobility. So basically what the debuff is I can't teleport near a survivor, but basically what the debuff is when you put a statue down and it chips a survivor, they can't be chipped again within 1 second. This debuff doesn't apply when it's Statue of Nobility. So basically, if you manage to get a chip here and you can immediately merge and then chip again, there won't be that 1 second debuff that you have as Sculptor. It'll just be an immediate chip, which is why it's great for chair camping. But that's another guide that we'll do another day. But okay, let me do this faster. For you. So oh god, sorry. So, the survivors are gonna vault that window. Put that down, they get a chip, and then immediately put it down. That's a double chip. Blink, down. Oh, I have teleport, never mind, I have teleport. So that is pro tip number 3 on how you use your statue of nobility. Of course, there are definitely more ways to use it. Let me give you another example. So like, you know, in between here as well, you can like do dash, get a chip, and then immediately use your statue, double chip again, once again. It really just depends on how efficient you are using your statues. Well, I'm not really like this area as well. You can get a chip here. If you can get a chip here, an immediate merge, that's like a half health. That's 2 chips, half health already. Pro tip number 4, this is a little bit important as well, and this is kinda one of the reasons why I chose this map, is because when you're playing Sculptor and you've max presence open, you know roller coaster, right? So roller coaster in stop 1 and stop 4, which is this one. Let me teleport it for you. So roller coaster in stop 1 and stop 4, this stop right here. So first stop and last stop, you can chip survivors down off the coaster. You can genuinely chip the survivors down off the coaster, and I will show you how. So basically how this works is, let's say if you're here, right, you don't have blink, survivor gets on coaster, you can immediately double statue. When you double statue, it counts as an AoE damage. AoE basically means area of an effect. So when survivors get chipped, it's like Bonbon. When survivors get chipped, they will be immediately forced down off the roller coaster, even though they already started it. So you can basically just do this, force the survivors down, and the roller coaster is gone. They're stuck here now. They're stuck here now, and you can use your statue of nobility to chip them down. This only works in stop 1 and stop 4. This only works in stop 1 and stop 4. Right, for stop 4, I would recommend you to put your statues here. So then, like when the survivors are like in whatever seat the survivors are sitting, they're in this area, they'll get immediately chipped down. But of course, you can do it like, you know, your way, like at the fronts, right here, and then like before they start, chip them down. Voila, game is on your side right now. You're at advantage right now. This consumes a lot of statue efficiency. You need to make sure you're good with your statues when you do this, and I will talk about how you can improve your statues in a bit. Pro tip number 5. Okay, let's just say there's a basement here, right? And there's a 2-story here. When you have tinnitus, and you use your statue of nobility to locate the survivor, it will shatter immediately. And now you may ask, why would it shatter immediately, Cruel? It's because it's a 2-story setting. If the survivor, let's say, are on ground level, if they're hiding at ground level, the statue will immediately go towards the nearest survivor on ground level. But then if they're in a 2-story setting, like here, as you can see, it will immediately shatter. So this basically indicates to you, hey, the survivor is upstairs. You have tinnitus. My statue, I cannot help you locate where the survivors are. It basically means they're in a 2-story setting. So when this happens, you can go inside the house, go upstairs towards the 2-story, and look for the survivors up there. You should be able to see a footprint. If you don't see a footprint up here, and when you vault down, and you still have tinnitus, because when they're up in 2-story, they're either gonna sneakily vault down, which doesn't give you the prompt, or they're gonna just vault down and give you the prompt, so you'll already know. But like, if you still have tinnitus and you don't see them upstairs, you use your statues again. Oh wait, the statue's shattered once again. Is there a basement here? Oh no, there is a basement here. Because the basement is not the same as ground level. The basement is a basement 1 level below the ground level. So there should be a survivor down here. So you can just come down to the basement, and if there should be, genuinely speaking, it should be a survivor if the statues shatter. So that is pro tip number 5. When you have tinnitus, use your statue of nobility. The statues collide, but they shatter immediately instead of locating towards a survivor. It's either that they're upstairs in a 2-story, or they're downstairs in basement, if the basement is, of course, nearby. So yeah, that is 5 pro tips for statue of nobility that I can give you. Oh, okay, now I remember now. Special tip. Sometimes survivors will use your statues to create a distance from you, and of course statues move faster than you do. As we can see here, statues generally move faster than you do. So whenever the survivor uses your statues as like an elevator or like a tram, so let's give you this example here. The way you counter is you put another statue in front. So let's say you do it like this. Okay, it's about to push. Oh, you realize that they're pushing, put the statue up. That's an immediate chip right there. That's an immediate chip right there. The other way that you can do this is, let's say you do it like this, right? Boom. Pow. This collides. Oh, it's pushing the survivors up. You can use your statue of agility as well. And that's another immediate chip if they dare to use your statues as an elevator to gain advantage for themselves. You can use it, you can use your statue of wisdom to counter it. You can use your statue of agility to counter it. Personally, I will use statue of wisdom to counter it just because I have, a equal amount of both sets of statues. So let's just say that I use it like this. Oh, okay, I just used 2 sets of these. I have now no statue of agility left. I have only statue of wisdom. Now they're gonna loot me here. Oh no, I have no statues of these to use. Bummer. Which is why, I prefer using wisdom. So then, it gives me an equal amount of the same statues that I have. So that is a special tip right there for you guys. And last tip. Now, how do we practice our statues efficiently? There's really nothing I can say about this except for, basically what I used to do is I go through every map, I run around the map, I throw my statues down like this. So basically you can genuinely just get used to it. Throw your statues down in whatever area you seem fit that you can definitely get a chip. So okay, not in that area, that's just bad. Like in this small tiny gap in between the stairs here to block their way from going up the stairs. Up here as well, where you can block their way, limit their movements a little bit, where you have to make them think. In between the pallets here, you basically just walk around like a mindless idiot, throwing statues down to the point that you're like, oh yeah, easy peasy, man, too easy. And then when you're used to your normal statue, you use your statue of nobility. Just throw it while you're moving. Try to, work on the hand movements a little bit. Of course, you can throw it like this as well. You can throw it like that as well, but I just do this just because I like doing this more. But like both ways work. It just really depends on you. So that's how I usually would, practice my statues effectively. Just like that. That didn't collide, so that's a bummer. Sadly, but that's basically how you practice your statues. Okay, hi. So basically, the last tip and the most important tip I have to give for everyone is don't panic. Do not panic. Breathe in, breathe out, take a chill when you're playing Sculptor. It really doesn't matter if you miss a statue or 2. If you missed your statue of nobility, if you didn't get a chip, it's okay. Just breathe in, breathe out, be calm. There's no point in getting stressed. If you get stressed, you're just gonna make more mistakes. Just focus, and if you lose, it's okay that you lose. You're not an S badge like me, right? I'm not saying this as a boast. It's a fact. You're not S badge like me. If you're watching this guide, you're learning how to play Sculptor. You're not expected to be like me. You should take it upon your own pace to learn how to play Sculptor properly. You're not me. Take your time. It's okay to fail. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as they say. And yeah, I honestly hope that you guys enjoyed this guide. I don't think I'm missing anything because I'm sure that I went through almost everything, to be fair, right now. But yeah, just when you're playing Sculptor, my hands shake as well when I play rank. Just breathe in, breathe out, and take a chill. Tell yourself it's okay to make mistakes. Everything will be fine. You're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna happen inevitably. So don't take it too hard upon yourself. So yeah, that is Sculptor Statue Placement Guide from First Galatea. I'm First Galatea Season 18 and Season 20, if I am not wrong. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you sugar buns enjoyed this, and I will see you all on the next guide. Bye bye for now.